Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, May the 12th, 13th, I don't even remember. About 8:45 in the morning. We're in the 7210. It's kind of a little misty and rainy out. You can't even see that. But we got the 750 drill on. I apologize, my windows are dirty. I don't have a rag to clean them with. I can see okay. I'm sure it's terrible for you guys. So, oops, sorry. You're gonna get a look at my ugly mug this morning. So, we're drilling this field. We're in Kansas. There's 88 acres in this field. You can only see just a little bit. There's a big draw there I drilled last night. Well, I split this field this year. We planted, about 45 acres of it, somewhere in that neighborhood, to corn. And I'm planting the other 43, 44 acres to forage sorghum. And specifically, it is a BMR forage sorghum, and it is also a bracytic dwarf forage sorghum. So, a lot of people, and I sell seed. I got one of my work shirts on today, and always got the old Plansky seed hat on. But this variety, or this class of family, there we should go, this class of forage sorghums, they call them dwarf. They aren't dwarf stature. They still get 6-7 foot tall if you let them mature that far. They call them a bracytic dwarf, and the reason being that the nodes are shortened. They have a shortened inner node, so the leaves are a lot closer together, so it's leafier, lots of leaves. We have a number that is more of a grain, or not a grain, a true forage sorghum, and it will produce a grain head, and we use that for chopping, for silage, usually is what we recommend that for. And that thing will get like corn leaves on it. I mean, it's leafy. It is pretty good stuff for that. So the idea is here, it's the same thing, but it's a sorghum sudan cross, so it'll have a finer stem. Actually, my goal is, what I want to do is hoping for 2 cuttings. One should be ready about the 4th of July, give or take a few days. And I'll put that one up as dry hay, because usually the 4th of July we get lots of heat and we can get it dry. So we'll put it up as dry hay. Now the second cutting will come in September. And this stuff is miserable to try and get dry in September. I mean, it takes 2 weeks with no rain in September to get this hay to dry. So my plan is then wet wrap it for baleage, or a good portion of it at least, depending on the weather and all that stuff. Maybe we get a hot, dry September. Maybe I can put half of it up for dry hay. I would like to do that. Put part of it up as dry hay. I'm not experienced in baleage very much. I did some this year, some alfalfa and some sorghum sudan grass. So if you're more experienced than me, I'd take some tips on it. But I'm thinking I don't want to keep that stuff year over year, so I don't want to have 200, 300, 400 bales of it to make sure I feed it up. Now, if I get my bale bed working again, which I never did get that done this winter, so I decided now it's not working now. I got cows on grass. I don't think I need it till August, September, somewhere's in there. So we'll get it fixed up that time of year. Turn my heat on here a little bit. Defroster. And if I get it going, I can feed it really easily with my bale bed, like on corn stalks and stuff, and supplement cows that way. That is a good option for baleage in my system. I have concerns. It's dry. I mean, it's getting a little moisture today, but I mean, you kick the top, just surface off, and it's dry, bone dry, which is going to make my window situation worse, since they'll cake over with mud pretty fast that way. But I do want to get this done because there is a very good chance of measurable rainfall tonight. We haven't had any measurable rainfall. I mean, that did any good since February, March, maybe. It's been a complete 180 degrees from last spring. Last spring the mud was so deep and the water was so deep, I couldn't get to my cows, you know. And this year, heck, most of the time I did it in two-wheel drive, you know. Didn't have any issues, so it's been a little different. But, so, nope, we're just doing a little update. It's going to be a short one because I'm probably going to have to stop and do a little more, pay a little better attention to what I'm doing here. See, I don't know if we can see this. I'm going to try and show you. You can see there, I just made that pass and see where it's dry, and then over here, there's moisture. Let me run the wiper, maybe that'll help. See, it's wet in front of me, and then where I just drilled is dry. So it's not like I've got much moisture that I'm dealing with, you know, to cause issues with the drill or seeding or compaction. So we do have a lot of subsoil moisture, which is a good thing. That's the only thing we're living on right now. We've got the corn and soybeans, mostly got them in enough moisture that they will survive, or they've come up, sprouted, growing. I need to go check my soybeans. I'll probably wait till tomorrow. I think we're gonna have a pretty nice day tomorrow. I need to run into central Nebraska and pick up some seed return, and then tomorrow afternoon I'm probably gonna do a little crop tour. We'll see if we can take you along. The bad part is about doing that, it might be a few videos. I'd like to do an update on the Feed Max, which is the spring triticale, spring barley, oats, and peas mix that I planted almost 60 days ago. I'm hoping in another, I think 30 days we'll be putting that up for hay, if we can get some heat. So that's that. Another thing, since we got this tractor back, I don't know if I touched on it yet or not, but we'll touch on it a little bit. This tractor has 7,147 hours on it. And I thought that warranted a little bit of preventative maintenance this winter. I sent her to a local mechanic. I guess he's not that local, but he's a mechanic I do a lot of work with, I trust. We've become pretty good friends over the years. We do some trading. I mean, he's got some cows, so I've traded him some hay and stuff for some equipment work. I can do mechanic stuff, but I don't have the patience for it, and it's easier for me to hire somebody else to do it because they'll screw up less stuff than I will. So that's how I do that usually. And anyway, while it was over there, I took the injection pump off for the fuel. We sent it to a shop. I sent it to a shop. Had them check it over, make sure everything was going. I asked them while I had it, like, could you just, I mean, I don't want a bunch, but turn it up a little bit. I mean, the tractor's 110 is what it's rated at on the flywheel from the factory, so it's like 95 PTO horse. And I'm going to say 95% of the time it's sufficient for what I was doing. But, you know, at 5% of the time we choke it off, and I don't like doing that. You know, I'd like to have enough tractor to handle the task at hand without it, you know, working that hard. So, you know, I was thinking, you know, 10%. Well, and I was talking to him and he got it done because he needed my address for a bill, and because I had it sent to him, I did not meet the guy. I had heard a lot of good things about him, but I had not met him. So, he was getting my address for the bill, and I asked him, so what do you think? You know, they had to put a drive shaft and gaskets and seals, but everything was pretty good. You know, adjusted a few things here and there just from wear for that many hours. And I asked him, so how much do you think you turned it up? He goes, well, I think I got it a good 10%. All right, well, that tells us we got our 10% we asked for. And that's kind of a loaded response at a good 10%. And I don't know what this tractor's running for horsepower. If I would like to find a dyno to run it on. I think John Deere has one. Kind of scared to ask what they charge to do it, but we might do it anyway for curiosity and bragging rights more than anything. But this is actually disc ground, and I'm an all no-till guy, except I did disc this year because this was milo that I cultivated last year because it had a bunch of shatter cane in it, and it made it rough. I mean, to put up hay on it, I was going to be going across the ridges where I cultivated and stuff, and just hard on equipment. So, you know, I decided to shallow 2 or 3 inch disking to level it off, make it manageable. Plus, the drill going back is leveling out the clods that are here from the disc. But anyway, back to my story. That's a 18, 19 foot 480 international disc. I mean, you can have whatever disc you want as far as I'm concerned. The only one that made a finished disc was international. So I don't know anything about new discs. John Deere makes one heck of a disc for tearing up stalks and loosening ground, but the finished disc, international all the way. But anyway, that 19 foot disc, we had a spot in here that I was driving on back and forth checking cows. So I mean, it was hard and it needed work, so it took multiple passes to get it to loosen up the way it needed to, so it wasn't rough and cloddy and everything like that. Well, the last couple passes, we had that disc buried to the spools, and this tractor never pulled. It did not work, this tractor, at all. So I'm guessing we got more like 25% or 30% out of it. It's running hotter than either 4240, which is 110 PTO horse. So I mean, it should have been 15 bigger than this. And I know this is front wheel assist, and that one is not. That will make a big difference, without a doubt. But it'd be interesting to see. Dad's got a couple 4250s, and he's got a bunch of hay spread out this year. He actually rented a field that I gave up, which, more power to him. And I'm kind of hoping he calls me wanting to bale hay, because I want to take this tractor and that 569 premium round baler that I bought this winter, which, by the way, I'm excited to get that hooked on the tractor and see what we got. I'm excited. Can't wait to play with it. But he's got a 566 twine tie, and he tells me that twine tie will tie as fast as my net wrap, which 95% of people know is a lie or a joke. It's not even close. But that's okay. I mean, no disrespect, don't get me wrong. But it'd be kind of fun to go help him bale hay some night, because I think I could probably put 25, 30 bales an hour out, and he's going to be doing 12 or 13. So it'd be kind of fun. Especially since I'll have the horsepower to run that baler close to capacity. The biggest question will be is if the ground's smooth enough to do it.